My name is George J. Bruzgis. I was born in New York City on 18th August 1933 at the Women's Infirmary,
1933.
1933.
And what were you doing around the time that the Korean War broke out?
I was going to high school, and when the war broke out, I was 17, and I asked my mom to sign the papers. I wanted to go join the Marines, and she wouldn't sign, so I finished high school. Thank God for Mama, because I think I would have been stuck in short at the reservoir.
Reservoir.
So lucky Mom said no.
Huh?
But anyway, me and my buddy were very close, and we decided to join the Marines anyway after high school. We decided, instead of waiting to be drafted, we would voluntary induction. That's 2 years. If I sign up, it's 3 years. Maybe I don't like it. So we went down, and he signed, and I chickened out. But, you know, after about a month or so, I went down and I signed.
Again.
And they told me exactly when I'm gonna go in. Actually, they asked me, and I told them when I want to go in. I went in the first week of January 1953. And of course, I went to Fort Kilmer for processing, and then they shipped me to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And that place is nothing but clay.
So, you knew that there was a Korean War broke out, right?
Oh, yes.
But were you aware of Korea?
I never heard of it before.
You never heard of it?
I never heard of it.
Not in the history class in your high school?
No, I had to look up in a map, in a geography map, where Korea was. Of course, then the newspapers, when they came out, they had the map of Korea. I still didn't know, they just showed you the map, I don't know where it is. And when I landed in Korea, well, actually, I went to Japan first.
Yeah, but when you were receiving the military training, especially on armor, you knew that you were going to go to Korea?
No,
No, okay.
no, they posted a list, and I checked out a list. Some of us went to Germany, some went to here, there, some stood in status cadre, and I went to Korea. Well, I didn't care, because I seen a lot of John Wayne pictures, and I really wanted to get in there, you know?
So you were excited, kind of.
I was, but I got scared over there.
So you went to, when did you left for Korea from the United States?
I don't remember the date. I really,
Month?
May, June, May. Maybe in April, maybe a month before April, I'm not quite sure.
April of
1953. Maybe a month before that even, I'm not even quite sure.
Right.
Because I know I had 12 points, and I got 4 points per month in the combat zone, so I had to be there like for 3 months, you know?
Right, by March.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe I went in March, I really don't remember.
Mm.
No, nobody ever told me to write a diary on this. You know, I don't even know what ship I was on when I went over. I know I landed in Sasebo.
Sasebo, yeah.
It's a Japanese naval base during the war, and I stood there for about 3-4 days, and then they gave me an M1, 8 rounds. They sighted for 100 yards, and I fired at the target, and they said, "That's it, take it apart, put it in your duffel bag, you're shipping out tomorrow."
Mm.
And they put me on an LST. We went across the waterways to Korea, and I landed in Incheon.
Oh.
Now, that's in 1953, so I didn't go with MacArthur.
Yeah, right.
And you go up, and they had all the trains there, and they put us on a train, and they said, "Put your rifles together. We may be attacked by guerrillas." Now they got me scared. They said the ammunition's on each end of the car, so we got a banded ammunition. We rode for a few hours on a train, and I was assigned to the 7th Infantry Division at their replacement center there. I spent 2 nights there, and then my name starts with B, and I always get duty. I wish it started with Z, I wouldn't have to worry. So anyway, I pulled guard duty, and there's a mountain, and on the other side of that
Where
mountain,
was that?
This was someplace I have no idea, in Korea.
But the name of the base?
It was a replacement center
Uh-huh.
for the division.
In Seoul?
No, I think, I really don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
Because I got there and nobody tells you anything, you know what I mean? But that night, on the other side of that mountain, you could see the flares, you could hear the artillery, you could hear the machine guns, and I got scared. I said, you know, I don't think I'm gonna make it home. Then they shipped me out to tank outfit,
To where?
to a tank outfit, 73rd Tank Battalion.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm a new recruit, I just got there, I haven't shaved in 3 days. And the first sergeant says, get rid of the idiot stick, meaning the M1 rifle,
Mm-hmm.
and take that damn hair off your face. And I got assigned to a tank as a loader.
Mm.
And then I went right online the next day to work with the engineers to set up the bunkers. That is online, and we're on Iron Triangle, it's a
Mm.
particular mountain that, or
Yeah.
area that we called. And my firing position was on Queen. That's what the range card said. And I was a loader. Eventually I made gunner, but that was after the war. And I have a bunch of pictures
Who's
here.
that? Who's that
That
Korean?
is, at that time, Corporal Yudak Gyol.
Uh-huh.
He's a Korean Katusi.
Katusa.
We had one on each tank, because we were short-handed.
Mm-hmm.
When the 7th Division went over to Korea, the men were stolen and put into other divisions. And they were very, very short on personnel.
Mm.
So they put the Koreans in with us. And they wore our uniforms, they ate our food and everything else.
Mm-hmm. How was the relationship?
I had a great time with this guy. And he didn't get much money. He got so much money he won, which was a big stack of money. So we all decided we're gonna pay him. So we each gave him $5, so he made $20 a month, which was big money back in those days for him.
Yeah. You must be a happy man.
I wish I could find him.
From March up to the armistice in July 27, there has been a severe battle there, right?
Not that I could go. On the 27th, well, we'll put it this way, when they had the ceasefire, actually I don't even call it a ceasefire, I call it an armistice. On the 26th of July, this stays in my mind, a major came up and then we had to sign documents that we understood that at 10 o'clock on the 27th ceasefire
Yeah.
or armistice, we don't shoot anymore. So we signed, each one of us signed the documents
What document?
stating that we understood
That we're not going to fire.
them.
Ah, that's very interesting. So each soldier?
I had to sign, each four of us, and the Korean had to sign it, that we knew that the war would be no more shooting.
So almost every soldier is
I
in
don't know.
our
I
side.
don't know about Asa, but I know about when he came into the bunker,
Uh-huh.
and he came out and he explained everything, and we had to sign that sheet, that we understood.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours later, a 2.5 ton truck came up and took all our small ammunition away, the small arms, the 45s, the 30 calibers, 50, they took it away from us.
Mm-hmm.
I guess presuming that, so we wouldn't shoot after the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
But we always carried extra, because they have an inventory list, so we didn't worry. The next day, the ceasefire was at 10 p.m. on the 27th of July. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the phone rang, fire mission, 5 rounds HE, on a certain position. They gave me the coordinates, and I look on the range card, and that's when we fired. And that's the last time we fired, at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then,
So what was the target?
they just gave us the coordinates. They said it was a cave or something, you know,
Uh-huh.
a bunker.
So they knew that you guys have extra.
Well, the 90 millimeters they didn't take. But I'll tell you the truth, in 2000, I got a hold of the pamphlet of our battalion with the history
Mm-hmm.
from Germany to Korea. And those 5 rounds are mentioned in it. And it destroyed a Chinese observation post. And I was telling my tank commander, I says, oh, and the gunner, you know, he was the gunner, and you know, I says, you know, this is something, you know, to find out after all these years that what we destroyed, you know what I mean? But I used to make the battalion reunions and that, and we talk about old times, you know.
Mhm.
But I just can't travel that much anymore now, you know. Gets too expensive.
So from March to the armistice, there was no civil battle there?
I didn't see no civil battle.
No?
Because we just moved back a little bit. I was still in North Korea
Mhm.
when he signed. Because that's where the company area was, you know what I mean? It was only a few miles back. Because I know, like, we always passed the 38th parallel going north, and that's where I stood. And then, of course, when time came, they took me in September and shipped me to Busan.
Did you then ever fire actually tank artillery?
Not at the enemy, I loaded the gun,
So not a single.
no.
Oh, so
In practice and maneuvers, yes. I was very good with the 90. I think I took second in the battalion. But I was a loader during the war. Because I'm the last man on a tank, you're the loader. Actually, the Korean was the loader at one time. They made him assistant driver.
so your service from March to the armistice was kind of sort of
It's
static, stalemate, and not much.
Stalemate, and you just stood there. Then one day, the alarms went off. That means the Koreans are coming.
Uh-huh.
What happened was a North Korean pilot flew a MiG-17 over the 38 parallel, landed at Kimpo Airport,
Mhm.
and he received $125,000, and he went to California to college. That was like a reward that they had passed out, you know. And this guy took the gamble and he did it.
Wow.
And I found that.
$125,000 in 1953.
Yeah, and going to college, LCU, I think it was.
What was the most difficult and horrible experience that you had during your service?
Well, you know, you could tell artillery shells coming and going. We called it incoming mail and outgoing mail. And you could hear it, you could tell the difference, which way it's coming from. So
How?
the noise that it makes, the shell
Okay.
goes through the air.
Right.
And we got some incoming coming in, so when I jumped in the tank and I closed the hatch,
Hmm.
I knew there was a couple of Koreans soldiers down the road, very close to us. And after the shelling, I opened it up, and I still remember they were in pieces. They were
Oh.
blowing up, and I still have that one. I get up in the middle of the night thinking about that.
You,
And,
you still have that image?
yeah, I have that image, and I get up. I don't scream or beat my wife. It's like they call it post-traumatic stress. I just get
Uh-huh.
up till I clear my head about that. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and if I see a war picture on television,
Uh-huh.
that reminds me of it. You know what I mean? And I have a habit of watching military
So
channels.
they were directly hit?
Yeah, they were in pieces, and blood and this and that. I mean, it was I've been to your funeral homes. I've seen bodies in a casket in one piece. There you have pieces all over, you know. I fell in what they call a slip trench one night. So when I re-enlisted in Korea,
Re-enlisted?
in Korea,
When?
March 7th, 1954,
Why?
I was gonna stay in the army.
You wanted to stay?
See, my father was an alcoholic,
Mm.
and my mom, and they always lied, you know, I just didn't want that no more, so I said, I'll stay in the army. I had no trade whatsoever,
Mm.
so I said, let me stay in the army for 20, 30 years, you know what I mean? And
So you came back to Korea?
I went, no, it was, let's see, no, March. Yeah, March 1954, I re-enlisted. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I got a 30-day leave and 7 days R&R to go to Japan. So when I got to Japan, I had a good time and all. I had trouble getting back to Korea because the French were fighting in Indochina.
Mm.
So what they did was they were going from Japan to Indochina, bringing the supplies, flying to Korea, taking guys in R&R, bringing them to Japan, doing that one cycle. They weren't bringing anybody back.
Mm.
So we had about 1,500 to 2,000 guys. They're supposed to be in Korea. They were in Camp Drake. So they finally decided to get a ship, and they put us over on a ship to bring us back. And they left us in Busan. I hitchhiked to North Korea. Took me 3 days. And you just stop into any army unit, sign the sheet, they'll put you up for the night and they'll feed you. Then you're back on the road the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally made it where my outfit was. They weren't there anymore. Took me another day to find them. And I finally found them and they put me on a detail that night because I was gone for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And to load up the gasoline into the tanks. As I was walking, I didn't know the area. I fell in a slip trench. And the heels of my feet were on my shoulders. I injured both knees. I couldn't walk for about 2 weeks.
What was the most rewarding moment in your memory during your service in Korea?
That's a good question. I guess coming home,
Coming home.
you know, because I haven't been home for so long, you know what I mean? And to come home and then to have trouble with your hand and everything, you know. But it was a funny situation. My mom was working, and she told everybody, and I never told her that I'm coming back.
Uh-huh.
My son's coming home today, I know it, and I did come home that day. She had a premonition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Oh.
she came home, I was only home about an hour, so I said, I knew you were coming home, somebody told me.
Ah.
God told me that you were coming home today, you know.
Have you ever been back to Korea?
I've been back in 2003,
2003.
and I was back last year,
Oh, last year too.
yes.
Who has invited you?
Well, I went the first time with the KWVA, the revisit program, I
Mhm.
paid for that trip. And I did a Korean girl, a woman, she's South Jersey Korean American Association,
Uh-huh.
or something like that. I did her a favor one time, she wanted me to come down and give a talk and bring a color guard down. So I had one of the guys down that particular area come down. I came down with my assistant. I gave the speech and everything, and she wanted me to award one of the Korean guys a plaque, give her a name, you know. So I gave it to my assistant, you know. And she thanked me. She says, "What can I do for you?" I says, "Well, when I do my ceremony in Atlantic City, I used to do that. I did that for 4 years. You could bring me ice water for the guys." She brought the ice water. Then I got a call last year, first time in a while. She said, "Would you like to go to Korea?" I said, "Yeah, I would," but it says I'm a little short on cash right now. So she said, "No, this is for nothing." I said, "Sure, I'd love to." "You know anybody else?" "Oh, I know some people." So I'll get back to you. Somebody phoned me up from Philadelphia. I think they're associated with the St. Eden Church. He says, "You got 10 tickets, get 10 people." I couldn't get 10 people.
Huh?
Nobody had passports. I
Oh.
had 3 guys and myself, so 4 of us went over. I always carry a passport. And it was better than the first time I went.
In what sense?
They took us to the rest, we like a banquet every day.
Huh.
Different restaurants, this and that, you know, different foods and, you know, and the other place, they take you to the same places all the time, you know. But this is all, we went on a boat, we went here, we went there. It was very enjoyable, and the people, they were lovely. They had, girls were maybe your age here, as, I guess, call them chaperones or us.
Uh-huh.
And they had some older people, and they took us around, they took care of us very nicely. I really enjoyed them. And when we left, they gave us a big bag, all gifts. When I got home, my wife said, "What'd you buy all that stuff for?" I said, "I didn't give it to me." And it was very nice stuff, right? And it was, I'm not gonna go back again. You know, I'm waiting for a free trip again.
So, what did you see the difference between when
Well,
you served
When
in...
I left Seoul was more or less flat except for the blue house. And when I back in 2003, when I looked at these apartment houses, 63 stories high, and then underground garages, all the cars and everything, and I'm saying to myself, the North Koreans, they're very close to the 38th parallel, or the EMZ. They could fire their howitzers, blow these houses up, you know. I says, you know, but I think, man, it seems very odd to be, there's no peace treaty. And they build all these things so close.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything ever starts again, it's really gonna destroy everything, and a lot of people are gonna get killed. I know that. And I have a feeling that within the next couple of years, there's gonna be a problem. That's my feeling.
Oh.
Because I can see the way they act, and they always try to show off their military and everything else, you know what I mean?
You mean from North Korea?
Yeah, because to me, the people are starving, but you look at their army, how they're dressed, they're full of vigor, you know, and the people on the farms are starving, you know what I mean? And look at the difference between North and South. You see yourself, two lights in North Korea, and South Korea's all lit up. About 2-3 years ago, the Korean Navy came in to New York, and I got invited to go on their ship. And it was a pleasure. It made me feel so proud, because as we were approaching the ship, they had the canopy, and the sailors were lined up, and then they had the guy that pipes, you know, like you see in the movies. He piped us aboard, and everybody saluted us. And the admiral was waiting at the gangplank. He saluted me, and he shook my hand. And he gave me a cadet, which would be my escort, me and my wife's. And I had my own table and everything. Now I found out why I only had my own table. Everybody had their own table, because your gift with your name on it was underneath that table. And he gave me a picture, it's about this size, and it's a mirrored frame with the North and South Korea with the lights. And it's signed by the admiral. Right? That's the only thing my wife lets me hang on the wall.
So did you feel rewarded, or you feel?
I thought that was great. You know, I mean, the entertainment and everything else, and it's just the thought of how they treated us on that. You know, like I say, the Koreans will never forget us. I've been to France. They treated me like dirt. That's the only. And I've been to Germany. I've been to Holland. I'm in quite a places in Europe. And the French are the worst people. They hate us Americans. You know what I mean? And after that, we saved it twice. And you people, you'll never forget us.
What do you want to pass on to the younger generation?
I try to tell my children. I went to my grandsons to look at the memorial. My wife took them to the museum. They still haven't looked at the memorial. I have all my ribbons in the shadow box. So why said, I'm gonna throw them away when you die. I said, no, you give them to the kids. I don't know if the kids want them, you know. But I just want to tell my grandsons, you know, about what I went through and look at the pictures.
Are they receptive?
Well, right now they're in college. One is at Stevens Tech in, I guess it's Weehawken or Hoboken. One's in the Hofstra law school. He's got 1 more year to go. And the other guy is in a vocational school in Pennsylvania. I always mention, when I talk to the kids, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, maybe your mother and father were there at that particular time. It depends on how old you are, you know what I mean? What they went through. And of course I show them pictures. I have a tape that I showed them. I got that from the KWVA.
Next year will be 60th anniversary of Korean Armistice.
You know.
It's more than half century that Koreans were technically at war. Would you be willing to symbolically say that let's finish this and replace with the peace treaty?
Yeah.
You don't have any problem with
I
that?
don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't trust them.
So, yeah, let's set North Korean aside, okay?
Yeah.
But from our side,
Yeah. I would, they need people. Look, it's 60 years.
yeah,
It's about time.
yeah,
I mean, when I used to do my ceremony, I used to mention that. that we are still at war with them. This is only a ceasefire.
Exactly.
And, you know, it is time. How long is this gonna go on, you know what I mean?
Right.
The American troops are still there. Let them come home.
Mhm.
Let you take the barbed wire fence down.
Mhm.
Get your families back together. You probably have family there you haven't seen.